Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really deep look into something you literally live out every single day, even if you don't fully realize it's happening. We are going to demystify our expected life paths. You know the one: go to school, get a stable job, buy a house, retire. I am incredibly excited to walk you through this material, because understanding this concept, it completely changes how we view our everyday choices, and honestly, it gives us a ton of mental clarity. So I want you to ask yourself, why does this specific sequence feel so inevitable? Why does it feel way less like a personal choice and more like some unbreakable law of nature? Sort of like gravity. We all just kind of accept it, right? But as you'll see, that deep-seated feeling of inevitability is actually a really fascinating psychological and social illusion. Think about it like rush hour traffic. When every single lane on the highway is just creeping along in one direction, it starts to feel like that is the absolute only possible way to move. It's an illusion created by repeated exposure. Everyone around you is heading the exact same way, so your brain naturally concludes, well, okay, this must be reality. But it's really just the pattern we've all been conditioned to expect. Section 1. The illusion of normal. Let's explore why normal does not mean inevitable. A life script makes this really fundamental distinction. It's a shared social idea about what a proper life should look like. It is absolutely not a biological law. A law dictates what absolutely must happen. But a script just tells us what is expected to happen. It's like this map everyone keeps handing you, but nobody mentions it's just one of a million possible routes. We accidentally mistake a suggested direction for our destiny. A brilliant way to visualize this is by thinking of the default settings on a brand new smartphone. When you pull a phone out of the box, it comes with preset values for brightness, ringtones, notifications, the whole shebang. It establishes expected progress and saves you the mental effort of building your digital life totally from scratch. But here's the kicker. It's a starting point, not your destiny. You are fully allowed to change the ringtone. The life script does the exact same thing for us. It gives us this default arrangement for adulthood that we so often mistake for our permanent only option. Moving into Section 2, Anatomy of the Script. Let's look under the hood and see how this is built. Let's move to and see how this builds across our lifespan. The script neatly sequences life into these four very tidy little boxes. The first 20 years are to learn, the next 10 years are to earn, the next 30 years to accumulate wealth and property, and the final decades to rest. It feels so neat and natural because it's organized into a perfect straight line. But, as we all know, real life is definitely not a straight road. It loops, it crosses, it pauses, and it restarts. We so often stress ourselves out trying to force our beautifully messy lives into these rigid chronological boxes. And the script goes way beyond just organizing our time. Like a restaurant menu, the life script tells you what society thinks is actually valuable to eat. Think about it. The menu doesn't just neutrally list food, it tells you what the chef thinks is worthwhile. Similarly, the life script quietly defines success for us, putting a premium on things like property, a stable income, and predictability. It's basically a bundle of specific priorities, perfectly disguised as common sense. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how this script is reinforced all around us. It's not some big, scary top-down force. It's actually a tight coordination of smaller, everyday systems. The family builder passes down expectations and fears, genuinely just trying to keep you safe, which makes you feel like, okay, this is what a safe life looks like. Then school trains you for schedules and sequences, teaching you there is a right order to life. Finally, work rewards stability and credentials, reinforcing that this path is the responsible one. When family, school, and work are all pointing in the exact same direction, the script feels completely inescapable. Section 3. When the script breaks. What happens when reality stops matching the story? And remember, normal does not mean inevitable. There are basically two ways the script breaks down, and understanding this distinction is absolutely crucial. First, it can fail practically. You do everything right, but the path just doesn't deliver the promised security, housing, or time freedom. Second, it can fail personally. The script works perfectly on paper, you've got the impressive job, the nice house, but it just doesn't fit your actual internal values. You feel totally disconnected. I really want to emphasize this. If you feel stuck in either of these ways, you are not broken. The script is simply revealing its structural limits. To really ground this concept, let's look at a highly relatable example from our source material. Imagine a young professional in Pakistan. They follow the script to a T. Good grades, a solid degree, a stable corporate job. But with rising rent and runaway inflation, plus the cultural expectation of supporting extended family, the script starts to feel incredibly heavy. It breaks quietly through a massive economic mismatch. The sequence was built for a world of predictable returns that literally just doesn't exist in their current reality. Let's just slow down and pause on this dot for a second. A script looks universal until it meets a life it cannot easily fit. If you are experiencing tension because your life doesn't look like the traditional, expected path, that is a completely natural result of stepping outside a socially approved structure. It is not a personal failure. It just means the script has met a totally unique life it can't perfectly contain. And finally, Section 4, choosing your own path. How do we move forward with real intention? We need to make a massive, fundamental shift in how we evaluate our choices. The old question we used to constantly torture ourselves with was, am I following the one correct life? We need to throw that out completely. The new question we must start asking ourselves is, what kind of life is actually being built here, and is it mine? This shift is a real game changer. It stops us from blindly obeying the script out of fear or, wildly rebelling against it just for the sake of being different. You get to evaluate the path by its real effects on you. So, the crucial point is beautifully summarized right here. A life script is a tool for organizing a society, not a verdict on your life. Think about how profound that is. You can respect the script for the stability it offers without worshiping it as the absolute truth. You can step outside of it without treating yourself as a failure. The script no longer owns the conversation. You do. I want to conclude this explainer with a final, kind of provocative thought for you to chew on. What kind of life would feel right if nobody were watching? If you stripped away all the family expectations, the societal definitions of success, and those preset default settings, what would your authentic path look like? Take that question with you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope this explainer gave you the clarity to build a life that is truly yours.